A tranquil state of mind is one of the toughest skills that one can master. A tranquil state of mind is one of the hardest tasks that a spiritual individual can reach. So, what is this tranquil state of mind? This is a serene state of being whereby an individual is untriggered, is unaltered by external circumstances that he encounters while he is living. So, to be in this state, one doesn't have to avoid the world. One encounters the world, but his peace is not compromised. His peace, his serenity withstands tribulations, withstands tough times, withstands temptations. So, to be in a serene state of mind or a tranquil state of mind is to be at the highest peaks of spiritual flourishing. So, there is no higher state than this. To be in a state where you face tribulations in this world, but you face them with the highest peace. You face tribulation and tough times with the highest form of calmness. So this serenity is very rare, and in the history of mankind, it was seen in very few individuals. For example, in biblical stories, we have an individual like Stephen. So this Stephen guy was being stoned for his philosophies and what he believed in. But this individual, what surprised the masses and what made this individual famous is how he faced these tribulation times, how he faced those tough times with a peace, with a form of peace that could not be triggered, but that could not be shaken by the pain of being stoned. This scenario is also seen in the biblical stories about Jesus of Nazareth. So this individual is being crucified, but he still feels mercy about other individuals who are not even being crucified. So he sees a woman crying, and he tells her that she should not worry about him, but about the future that's coming for them. So these individuals showed the highest form of peace, the highest form of calmness, the highest form of calmness or tranquility or serenity in tribulations, in tough times, in times that a lot of spiritual individuals would act agitated. These individuals decided to meet these circumstances with the highest form of calmness. So, if you read the speech that this individual by the name of Stephen gave to these individuals who were stoning him, his last speech, you realize that this individual had realized a higher state of being that could not be triggered by the tough times that his individual physical form faced. When you listen to the last speech of Jesus of Nazareth, you realize that this individual had realized a higher state of being that a lot of spiritual individuals have not reached. He had reached a higher state of being that could not be triggered, that could not be affected by the circumstances that this physical form faced. In fact, in the mystical stories, in the circles of sages, we had them talking about this state of being. And so they said this state of being is when an individual was born to his higher self. So this was a state where one identified and lived and encountered the world as his or her higher self. And so the higher self could not be affected by things of this physical flesh. The higher self could not be affected by the circumstances that this flesh was undergoing in this world. So when one had identified or had known and realized and made a step of practicing that which is his or her higher self, then he encountered the world as that which is beyond, as that which is above the circumstances of this physical flesh, of this physical form. So when one had come to this state, the sages, the mystics, those ancient masters uh, named this guy or referred this guy to have been born again. So he was born again as a spirit, as a higher self. So his actions resemble a new being, a higher being, a being that was not limited by the circumstances of this physical form in the circumstances of this world. So to have a serene mind while in the marketplace, while in the shop, while doing your businesses is the highest form of spirituality one can reach. This is the highest peak of spirituality, to encounter the world with the highest form of peace, a peace that cannot be triggered by external circumstances. This is true serenity. This is true tranquility. Until next time, peace.